What's up, everybody? Okay, so we're here on time. Chris is running a few minutes late.
Woo! What's up, everybody?
So he's running a few minutes late, so I figured we would just hang out, talk for a few minutes, and then as soon as he gets here, we'll get with the show. I hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful New Year's. It's now 2021, so we can all just relax and pretend like nothing happened last year.
No, it's going to be a great year. Stop it! Don't even jinx it before it starts. We started off with a good, nice Kiss 2020 goodbye. So I can't go downhill from there, right?
Yeah, hold on. Chris is here now. Hold on.
All right,
let's add him.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, let me just make sure I got the right mic going on here.
We're all good. We're actually live right now. I just wanted to let you know we just went on to make sure we were on time, and then we'll go ahead and kick it off.
That's awesome.
What's up, beautiful?
How you doing, buddy?
What's happening?
It's very good to see you.
Oh! What does that say? Awesome. A little closer to the camera.
There you go.
That looks like not Paul Stanley, the Italian Stanley.
I'm going to do it just like Conan. I'm just going to put some lips that are just going to move for me for my voice.
That's awesome. For those of you guys out there that don't know what that is, that is Paul Stanley's body, I believe, with Joey's face.
Well, here's the funny thing is I actually have a Paul Stanley, obviously the Crazy Nights album photo shirt. So I went to grab it. And when I went to grab it, I found this one in Perth. I was like, oh, shit, I forgot about that. So there you go. Perfect. Cool. The one and only time where it fits the occasion to wear this.
It does.
That's good for all occasions.
Yeah, he sent me the picture of you wearing it today, and it cracked me up. I was like, oh, my God. Anyway, all right, so let's get started with this show. Hang on one second, and let's run our intro.
Podcast Rock City.
What's up, everybody? Joe here from Podcast Rock City, and with me is Mr. Joey Casada. Oh, he's over there.
Yo! What's up?
And now you guys can see Le Champion himself, Chris Jericho, is joining us. Thank you for coming on with us.
Where's that piece of shit, Sonny Pooney?
That ugly bastard. Can you believe it? He said he couldn't make it. He had family business to take care of.
I know why he couldn't make it. It's because I'm on the show. That's why. And by the way, let me also say this caused a little controversy because I was talking with Tom and Zeus down the street at Shout It Out Loud podcast, and they wanted me to do the show. And they said, now that I did this show with you guys, I got to wait long time to go back on their show. Yes. So there you go. I chose this piece of shit over that piece of shit.
Well, thank you.
Tell those goofy bastards from Boston, you're with me, baby.
You know, this piece of shit at least has nuts and corn in it.
I think that you were supposed to be on that one too, Joey. I think you might have screwed yourself. They go, we just got to ask Joey if he's available. I said, he's always available. He's just looking for something to do, anything to do.
You kid? I'm on that. This Joe yells at me all the time for going on that one. They fight over me.
What are you talking about?
Kiss podcast heat. I love it.
I don't yell at anybody. You go promote your book. Look, watch.
What?
Oh,
yes.
Hold on.
Promoting Joey's book is something that is very important. He needs to do it every day. He can't leave his house.
I don't have one handy. I can promote this. My Metal Muscle featuring Kiss. I have this handy. I'm reading this right now.
That's awesome.
I was trying to find his book. I might have thrown it away. Metal Muscle. That's cool.
Let me tell you, one day, maybe it was 2 years ago now. I can't remember. Maybe it was last year, but Chris, you were here in Atlanta, and I stood in line. I stood in line to meet you here in Atlanta, and Joey was sending me text messages telling me to tell you to suck it, that his book was awesome.
Where was that? Where did you come to meet me?
It was the Days of the Dead. It was in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's a great way to kick it off. Let me just look at page number 42 in this book here.
That's an exclusive promo copy worth a lot of money right now.
It's really cool because it's a great coaster for my drink, so I don't want to get my desk wet. So
that's awesome.
Okay. So, anyways,
that was the day you were texting me about Vinnie Vincent. I think wasn't that the same convention?
Did we discuss this before, Joe? Have I told you that story before about Vinnie Vincent?
Tell it again.
There's two Joes. I'm sorry. You're Joe. From now on, you're Joe. You're Joey. Just so we get it figured out. So I went to – I don't do a lot of signings and conventions and stuff because I like to keep those open in case I get fired from all my jobs and I have to go do signings for the rest of my life, which is fine. But I'll do them if there's something if I can get some good interviews for Talk is Jericho. And that time was in Atlanta, so I know some guys there. And I heard Vinnie Vincent was on the show. So I'm like, well, I'll see if you can get Vinnie Vincent. The guy's like, I'll get him for you. I'm like, oh, really? He goes, yeah, no problem. I'm like, okay, go try and get him, see what happens, because we all know what's going to happen, right? So he talks to Vinnie's manager, and Vinnie's manager says, yes, Vinnie will be available to do it 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. So I'm there on Friday night. I'm doing whatever my signing is, of course. So he goes, I get a call at 9:30 in the morning. And I'm still in bed because I already know what's going to happen. Well, Vinny's not available because he decided to drive back to Nashville to feed his dogs. Now, Atlanta to Nashville is about a 4-hour drive. I'm like, did he not prepare to have somebody feed his dogs before? But no, so Vinny went home, he feeds his dogs, comes back. So then it's like he'll do it after the convention. I'm like, cool. I'm here all night, whatever he wants to do. So then, of course, I get a call a few hours after that Vinny will do your podcast for $10,000. That look that you have on your face, Joe, is similar to. I just had Angus Young and Brian Johnson on it, and Gene and Paul and Lars Ulrich and Tony Iommi and whoever the hell else has been on. No one's ever asked for money, but $10,000. I'm like, no. So then. Here's where it gets to the point where you're going to know. So I was sitting there, and across from me was I remember Edward Furlong from Terminator 2 was there, and it wasn't the highest class in the room, and not to be a jerk, Joe, you're going to hate this, but I had a huge lineup at mine because they didn't put me with Tom Savini or they said that I set a record that day for the most line ever is what they told me.
They put you in the right grouping. Vinnie Vincent and Ed Furlong.
So anyways, so I can see across the way that Vinny's there, and this poor dude has like literally nobody. And he's got his Hillary Clinton pantsuit on, and that's when he's going through that phase. And God bless him. I don't care whatever your trip is. It doesn't matter to me. But when you ask 10 grand, I'm like, so then the guy comes over and goes, listen, Vinny wants to say hi. And if he likes your vibe, he'll consider doing the podcast. At this point, I'm like, dude, I really don't care. Like, what does it matter if Vinnie Vincent's on the show? I've had Paul and Gene and Ace and frickin' Bruce and all the whatever. So I go over and talk to him for a bit, and he's playing his guitar, and he's like, he's friendly. And, and for some reason we start talking about Canadian politics or something like this. And he's like, so tell me more about this podcast. I feel if you can convince me to do it and make me feel comfortable, then I'll do it. I'm like, Vinny, I would love to sit here for, the next 20 minutes, hour, and explain to you why you should do my show. But I have a line over here, and the line is like, dude, I go, if you want to do it, I'll be happy to. If not, come over, say hi to me, but I got to go back over here. I mean, at this point, I'm like, fuck, whatever. So I go back and sign. And then about an hour after that, after having no people, he gets up and leaves. So the epilogue of the story is after my signing is done, I go talk to the guy that said he could get me. I said, yeah, he said, fuck, I didn't think Vinny's going to be that crazy. I said, yeah, I kind of expect, because I had no idea. He said he got up and left halfway through the signing because he said that nobody liked him and nobody was standing in line to get autographs. And he said that everyone hates him. So he got up and leaves. Here's the best part. I tell Paul Stanley that, yeah, Vinny was here, but he left halfway through. He said nobody likes him. Paul goes, he's not wrong.
Hold on.
That is one of the greatest stories I've ever heard, and there is no love for that man here. I am, this isn't going to become I call him Double V. That's what I call him. But I'm still waiting on a box set that he told us 2 years ago, January. That was
Did you
coming.
buy one? Wow, you bought that?
Okay, so no, I did not buy the original one, but I was in Atlanta at the thing where he came out and said, "Hey, not only are you going to get a box set, but you're going to get 2." And everybody went, "Huh? Why 2? I don't even what to sell, I guess." And it's I guess that's 2 or 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Once again, listen, this is not a show about Vinny Vincent. We got lots of fun things to talk about, but that was a good way to start it. And the guy is, a great riff writer, great songwriter, and
sure.
Let's just focus on that positive. Look It Up record is great. Revenge is great. And,
I got to tell you, to me, Vinny is the most fascinating member of KISS that's left, because the other guys they're going to give you the same old interview over and over. He might be worth the 10 grand. If you want, I can chip in a little bit. I got $3-4. I'll put my share in.
I know what you're going for. You want to get the retainer gig of the drummer of the new Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
No, I talked to Bobby Rock about he hates drummers. He hates drummers.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that if you go, if you go back just a couple of years, some of my friends that do the Decibel Geek, Chris and Aaron, they did have him on the show. He not for 10 grand, I don't think, and I'm sure it wasn't for 10 grand. And it was their dream interview, and all it did was cause them heartache. All right, let's talk about.
That was like a James Bond movie. We have a little snippet at the beginning that's got nothing to do with the rest of the movie. We came in hot. Now let's get down to it.
So the show aired at 12 o'clock Eastern time on this Tixer website.
It's Chris, it's upside down. You had it upside down.
Sorry. It's much better now.
I will tell you that I did have a little bit of trouble, and I do not blame KISS one bit for any technical problems as far as internet and streaming or anything like that. However, you guys saw the little documentary at the beginning, correct?
Yes.
Okay. At the end of the documentary, there was probably still another 5 minutes, and all of a sudden it jumped to halfway through the intro. Detroit Rock said,
Yeah.
"Did you guys get the same thing?" Okay, I don't blame them at all.
And just so you know, Joe, I've watched. I bought the option to watch it for the next 72 hours, and we'll get into. I watched it 3 times. It starts that way even on the replay. So something must have happened. Yeah, we watched. It starts the exact same way halfway through the risers coming down.
Right now,
someone definitely got fired for that. 100%.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. I mean, they're coming from Dubai, and we'll discuss all of this, I'm sure. So I've been watching streams ever since they started because it's the closest thing to live rock shows, and some of them have been great, some of them have been not so great. But this is from Dubai, so I know they had a lot of money tied up into it. But if there's a little bit of trouble getting started with it, like you said, Joe, I can't really blame them because that's literally from halfway across the fucking world, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, the other thing is that I just was watching it as well, just like you were saying, and they just the audio was there, and they just showed the hotel, like somebody said, "All right, let's edit this together so there's an actual beginning."
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they are coming down, and so what did you guys think about the little documentary?
I thought it was great. I thought the doc was actually fun. I liked the whole idea. That's the stuff listen, I love to see KISS live still, don't get me wrong, but I love to see behind the scenes stuff still. I like to see what goes into a show. I love the idea that they flew in, and which I didn't know up until this point, that they flew in 2 stages from different sides of the world, which was, on hold for other shows, throughout the country and the world, and combine them to make this massive stage. To me, that's the stuff that I find really interesting. We'll get into the set list and performance and stuff later, but I like the behind the scenes stuff. I thought Gene looked incredible without makeup. I thought he looked thin, slim, ready to go. I thought his hair looked good, you know, which he hasn't looked good, you know, in many, many years. I thought Gene was on fire. He looked really, really good out of makeup. He looked cool. Paul, you know, was cool looking. You know, he was in that downtown Dubai setting and stuff. I love the behind the scenes doc.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because it's so funny too, because I'm sure you guys are the same. I know that you were, Joey, because you know, you hear about the live stream, and my wife just called me out right away. I was like, yeah, I wasn't even sure if I was going to get it. She's like, bullshit. You knew you were going to get it from day one, you know? And so when, like you said, we'll get into I was just to predicate, I was absolutely floored, blown away, worth every penny. I'm so glad that I watched it. The documentary was cool. The one thing that there's like a lot of really kind of hitting you over the head about the masks and the safety and we get it. I understand. Yeah. And if you follow Paul and to a lesser extent Gene on social media, they're all about it. And that's cool. But I get it. You guys took precautions. You wore the masks. Now let me see some fucking more fun stuff of Agreed. Like you said, Joey, of Gene walking around the city. And like the best part was like Doc's interview. I like the stage when they start talking about the masks. We get it. We understand. Nobody is blaming you for doing this. Thank you for doing this. But other than that, I thought it was cool. I wish they would have said like countdown to the show, because I kept saying, when is this fucking thing going to start? Like I was out the night before because we had an AEW show the night before, and I was like, you know, it took a lot to get out of bed at 11 a.m. or whatever it was. I'm like, I could have slept another half hour, man.
Wait a second. You were out the night before? What were you doing? You weren't drinking or anything?
Well, that was on Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday. So yeah, Wednesday night we had AEW live show from Jacksonville. Right. So then we had a New Year's Eve party, and we're all tested. And don't give me that fucking bullshit. We all live in a bubble. We're sweating all over each other, and we have been for 9 months. Okay. So then, yeah. So you we were drinking after the show, and then getting up to ready for New Year's Day, New Year's Eve day. And I was like, I got to get up for this Kiss show, and it's at noon. Fucking hell.
Did they I don't remember seeing it. Did they advertise that it was going to be a documentary first? No, right?
No, they just said it starts at noon Eastern time. Right. And that was another thing too. Did you find this, Joe? Was it hard to figure out what time it actually started?
Well, actually it was, and I got lucky because they sent me like 4 different links, and I was like, I have no idea what Dubai time is, and one of them I clicked on, and I got so lucky because it said East Coast, West Coast,
gotcha.
Central. Nice. And I was like, oh my God. And I was in Alabama at the time, about an hour and a half away. So I was like, okay, tomorrow morning I have to get up at this time and then get to the house. Still have to download the app.
Imagine if you were in LA, that's 9 a.m. in the morning. You know,
sure, yeah.
That's pretty early.
By the way,
so far,
Jerry Kern on the live comments, he said on the new replay that they fixed the intro that you
did they? Okay.
See. I guess so. Yeah, I didn't see the fix.
I watched it right after the day of, and I just watched it today, but I didn't watch it at Rock City. But that's good. I'm sure they got they had 50 cameras or whatever it was. I'm sure somebody caught the damn thing.
Yeah, you would think so. And we actually that fucker Sonny Pooney sent us a actual like a rehearsal of the actual intro, and I'll make sure Joey sends it to you because I saw it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's beautiful.
You know, like you said, I'll let you, it's your show. Lead the charge.
Okay, so all right, so you didn't come in with high hopes, or were you walking in going, all right?
No, it wasn't that at all. I saw Kiss 3 times on the end of the road tour, including at Madison Square Garden with Joey, and loved it. But I was like, okay, guys, like, you know, like I am one of those, like a really hardcore wrestling fan or a really hardcore Star Wars fan. I bitch incessantly about Kiss, but I will spend my money. Not every little trinket like Mark Cicchini or something, but I will still always support them. And Mark will appreciate me saying that. So I was thinking, like, if there's anything different at all. And of course, then I don't know if you guys knew this, but earlier in the day or the day before, Gene posted some rehearsal footage, and as he was filming, caught the set list full on. Yeah. So I screenshot it. I'm like, fuck, it's the same. And not only is it the same, It's the new version of the set where they took out Crazy Nights and put Do You Love Me back in, and it's just like, ugh. So I kind of went into it going, oh, fuck, it's going to be the same old shit, but whatever, I'll watch it. Little did I know.
But you had to know, set list wise, we had to know it was going to be pretty much standards. I wasn't expecting anything crazy, right?
I thought what they would do is they would put one new song, and incidentally, they did. We just didn't know. But I thought they would put one, like, I don't know, Is That You or fucking
oh my
whatever,
God, really?
You know, so that people like us would go,
yeah,
oh my God, they're playing Is That You? Let's buy it. And I still think that would have been a smart move. Just whatever,
I agree.
Like Domino or whatever, like just I Stole Your Love or something. But they didn't. And that's when I was kind of like, oh, really? Come on, guys.
I couldn't agree more. Advertise right before anything. Say, hey, we're adding in this classic, or we're going to add a classic in from Unmasked.
You never know what you're going to hear. Yeah.
Right. Anything like that would have made so many more people buy it. I couldn't agree more.
Well, and I also think it's one of the reasons why the Cruise does so well is you never really know what they're going to play. And they're smart. They always put in 2 or 3. Like, you know, the last one was, I think they played Radioactive and they played Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, and they did play Is That You? And that's enough. Just give me 1 or 2 that I've never heard. And when they didn't do that, I was kind of like, oh, whatever. Okay, I'll still buy it. Right. Because once again, just to see Kiss live, like, fuck, like, it's not the same, but it's still a live rock and roll show, you know? And then that to me was enough to at least check it out.
Right. And visually, you knew it was going to be something different too. It was going to be bigger, explosions, set wise. You know, just the scenery in front of that hotel with the pool.
I didn't think it was going to be like that. I really had like that. Not to jump ahead, but the production on that was fucking mind blowing.
Yeah,
like I've never seen anything like that in any concert, Super Bowl concert. Like, dude, that was fucking great. Like that could be the best Kiss gig that I've seen since our favorite Animalize Live Uncensored. Like I could literally watch that thing 50 times. Like I really could. It was just
you just texted me before when I texted him to come on today. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch it again right now.
I already was. When you text me, I just happened to be watching it because now I'm sure you guys do the same. Because like I said, I bought it where I can watch it for 72 hours. So I watched it once, I watched it again. Now I'm just picking and choosing my highlights. And it was just what a great job they did all across the board, visually and audio wise.
Well, one of the things that I had mentioned was they really pushed how many different cameras are going to be involved and how and 360 views. Now, on my Apple TV, I didn't have any option to look at any kind of a 360. I actually sent them a message because I push virtual reality like you wouldn't believe. I have been sending letters to everything that I love to watch live, whether it's wrestling or football or even musicians, saying you should put some 360 cameras in there so people can put on a headset and feel like they're right there. And I thought that's was going to happen. So, man, I got my Oculus. I was ready to go. I sent them a letter. No, that's not what it was going to be at all.
Wait, Joe, what was the answer? Was there... Because I know exactly what you're saying. Because even the Broadway show that I did, we had a 360 camera on.
Is that when you're at the Tonys?
No, well, not the Tonys, Chris. That was a different time. And but seriously, but what a 360 camera gives you when you're on your iPad or your iPhone or anything, you could literally scroll around live, and you could look at this angle, that angle. You could scroll exactly what it says, 360, and see different views. You know, and I didn't see any of that either. I wonder if it was just abandoned. I don't think so.
I forgot that was even one of the options because just to add to what you're saying, Joe, is like I said, I was in Jacksonville, so I watched it on my laptop. But then when I got back home and watched it on my Apple on my computer, holy shit, the clarity of this screen must be a 4K screen that I'm looking at right now because you could see like people on the balcony, which you couldn't see just watching it on the laptop. So for clarity, there was a big difference, but I never saw an option to see the 360. Was that ever advertised that way?
it was advertised as 360 views. So that's why I was wondering, what are they going to do? Are you going to be able to like go, now Kiss did put out that from the tour that Joey was on, what was it, live
Rock the Nation?
Rock the Nation.
Yeah.
And then it was now on that DVD you can actually click and watch Gene for a whole show, or Paul for a whole show.
Gotcha.
So what I thought was going to happen is that there was going to be like 20 or 50 whatever different views, and you could be the producer. And
I think you're going to have that on the if there's a DVD release or some kind of release like that. I think you're going to have that feature the same way as the Rock the Nation DVD. You can watch Eric's angle, you can watch Gene's angle, blah blah blah. I think you're going to have all that stuff. I do.
And yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was just saying maybe they meant like there were shots like you did get a full three, like the shot from behind Eric's kit where you could actually see, which if you didn't know looks like a castle. Like that was the shot of the night right there.
Oh my God.
That was kind of a 360 thing maybe. So
now they really talked about Dubai. Chris, have you ever been to Dubai?
Yes. And I can answer a lot of questions that people had because I know we might as well just say a lot of people were bitching that no gene blood. Or,
right.
The first thing I noticed is when 100,000 years must have been a trip while I'm gone. And I said, isn't it, bitch? And then I realized, when we went to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, which they're not countries, they're cities in the United Arab Emirates, the AEU, which is kind of all of that area. They were very strict with no sexual imagery, no crotch chops, no obscene words. And no, slowly rob you of your virgin soul, virgin.
Wow.
So that's why there was.
What did he change virgin to again? I don't remember.
It sounded like sacred goal. At first, I thought it was sacred soul, but maybe you can't even say soul. So from watching it again, I think he said sacred goal, which is that's pretty cool. Like you're never going to hear that again.
I saw so many people bitching about that stuff. Yeah. I actually like that stuff because to me. Anytime there's a different anything in a Kiss set, a different lyric, someone messes up. That time where Peter Criss couldn't play and his roadie filled in. I love all that one time in history type stuff.
Well, especially when you know the reason for it. I mean, I remember like when Iron Maiden played China, they couldn't sing Power Slave. That was deemed obscene. Or Metallica couldn't do Master of Puppets. That's not allowed. But it's funny. You can't say Virgin Soul. But I got a 4-minute song about my cock.
Love Gun, right?
Love
it's
Gun,
okay.
And that one's all right. That one's
one of the things that cracked me up in the little documentary was that Gene was like, I would have no problem moving here and living here. And I'm like, you'd be in jail before you got off the plane, dude.
But Joe, once again, here's what I figured out. And I talked with our group text, Joey, that we have with some of the guys. At first I was like, I wonder how many people are buying this. I'm thinking, okay, if it's $50 on the average and, 10,000 people buy it. And then I said, hold on a second, dude. You forgot who you're dealing with here. This is Kiss. They made a profit before they even stepped on that plane.
Of course.
Right. It didn't matter how many buy rates they did because some rich dude, maybe it was even the Atlantis Hotel, paid their entire production setup, probably a nice chunk of change for Paul and Gene to where they made money. And that's why it was in Dubai. Why else would it be in Dubai? Why?
Of course, 100%. Maybe at the back end, if they reached a certain amount of pay-per-view buys, they got another incentive. But there was no way they were going there without a guarantee, flat cost, everything. This is what we're making, no matter if one person buys it or 1 million people buy it. And it didn't matter. Yeah, it didn't matter.
It's what you call a bot show. It's a guaranteed show. Right. So, Paul and Gene are getting $1 million each and everything's set up before we even leave. And you can tell because they were super putting over Dubai. I would move here. The Atlantis Hotel got tons and tons of press.
The Emirates Airlines.
They just constantly talking about it. That's what you do. And as a matter of fact, when we went to Dubai for the WWE shows, it was a bot show that one of the sheiks or princes brought us over there for his family and friends. And there was other people scattered throughout. But if the place held 8,000, there's probably 3,000 people for 2 or 3 nights that we did in a row.
Right.
Nobody cares. It was this guy's birthday party or whatever. Let's have the wrestling over. Come on over. So that was the case.
Can you put a call in to see if they want my book over there?
Actually, There is no obscene gestures, and that schnoz right there, that's obscene.
So okay, so Chris, being a still touring musician, your band Fozzy still you guys went. The last thing I remember you doing that maybe was Sturgis the last thing you guys did?
We did Sturgis, and then we did a live stream as well. So we did a live stream from a studio. That was back in December.
Okay, but playing live at Sturgis, there was still 100,000 people.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
So you missed that like hardcore. You get a chance to wrestle still in front of a little bit smaller of a crowd.
Yeah.
In Florida, but do you think that one of the things that they're hoping in the interview in the documentary was maybe other bands will see that they can get out there and perform? Do you see that being possible at all?
I'll tell you that it is possible. It just depends on whatever your beliefs are. It may even be a political idea. Because even if you saw, Joey and I were talking about it earlier, that Nikki Sixx kind of passive aggressively blasted Kiss for doing this. Why would you do this? And it's like, why wouldn't you do it? Like I said, we know why Paul and Gene did it, but I'll tell you what, money aside, those guys were having a blast. I watched it again today. Paul is smiling, and it's not a fake smile. It's that smile that he had on his face, and Kiss Animalize when he's talking about, they want to take him home and mother him. And he starts smiling like he just made a good one. Like they were so happy to be playing. And that's what it's all about. I mean, we are musicians and we're entertainers. And I wrestled for 6 months in front of nobody, and it fucking sucked. It was hard. Right. And now, even if we have 500 people, at least we had 1,000 last week, which seemed like Madison Square Garden, but at least there's something to latch onto. So yes, listen, don't get me started, because I am not one of those guys. I mean, I saw this great meme of somebody standing on the shoreline of a bridge, and it says the bridge is a 99.4% chance of not collapsing. And the guy said, I'm just going to swim. It's like, you got to go. And like I said, those guys were over the top, being very cautious and safe. And I would guarantee there's probably going to be no COVID cases from that. And you had a lot of people that had a really good time seeing them. And Metallica has been great about it. I think our Fozzy live stream was great. And Stryper did a great one. Like, thank goodness for that, man. Or else we literally wouldn't have that feeling of just seeing four dudes Joey knows, of just playing rock and roll, man. There's nothing like it.
And not only that, it's think about how many jobs they created by doing that show. You're talking about thousands of jobs between the medical staff and the crew and the airlines and the hotel. And think about all that goes into that. They created so much work for people. And I know that gets so overlooked for, the little guys. No, but it's so important that they created how many jobs people could feed their families and pay their bills just because of this one Kiss show.
And listen, like, once again, not to get too far in the weeds, either you in or you're not. And that's one of the reasons why we did the Sturgis show, was to give the guys a little bit of work. I'm fortunate I have another gig, but these cats don't. And, it was just a little bit of a bone. And, if you do it smart, and we did it smart, our bus was the bubble and everyone was tested getting on, and there was no meet and greets or fan interaction or any of that stuff. So people will see things and just assume the worst.
Right.
But if you're smart, there's always a way to do it, and be cognizant of others and stay away from people and wear a mask. But fuck, dude, that show, like, it was great. It was a great show to see, and I'm glad they did it. And once again, it's Kiss that did it right, with people on those balconies. And then watching it on the big screen here, there was a lot of people in the back. If you saw the back of the place.
Yeah. Right.
And here's one last thing that I got from a friend of mine who was looking into trying to go to Dubai. All of those balconies, minimum price was $40,000.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Yes. So this is a big money show all across the board.
Yeah. So they showed, they did show a few they did show a few people that were there that I have seen on like Kiss cruises before in the interviews. And I thought that was really pretty cool. And they did, and so that was kind of a commercial for the next Kiss Cruise.
Well,
do you think that might happen, Chris? I know you're going to be on it. So we got late October. We're going to get the Kiss Cruise 10 is happening. Do you think by then we're going to be? You think Kiss is going to go? Hey, we feel pretty confident.
Well, never mind, because 3 days after that, the third Jericho cruise happens.
Well, that's right. As a matter of fact,
Joey's booked on that one too.
Yes.
So because we were originally booked to go out in February, so the Kiss one was October of 20, and they just went a year to 2021. Ours was February of 21, and they moved it to October of 21. And everything we've heard now that the vaccine is more in play and all that sort of stuff is that they're going, because this is another industry that is dying a death. I think they got like some ridiculous amount, like a $2 or $3 billion holdover from government or whatever. But that was enough to help them for 1 year. They listen, obviously we don't want to make anybody sick or put anyone in danger, but I think, no pun intended, they're all systems go until they can't be. But that's October. That's a long time from now. And with the vaccine on the rise, they're saying January, February, March. And if the vaccine is what it takes, then maybe that's going to be enough to get people rolling, and Kiss, I mean, listen, we're either all going or we aren't. It's not like Kiss is going to make a decision. Either it's going to be safe enough for a cruise to go out or it's not. I'll tell you what, if we're not safe by October, there's going to be a lot of musicians fucking, jumping off of buildings.
Right, yeah.
And just so you know, if you need me just as standby or as a drinking partner on the Kiss Cruise, I'm available.
We already are on retainer for Frank with Fozzy, so we might have to bring you in.
No, but a retainer, retainer at home for the Kiss Cruise does me no good.
No, we'll bring you along like Bruce Kulick or Mark St. John was in the band, so you can watch from the side.
Perfect. I have no desire to play. I'll gladly just come along and hang out.
I don't know if I could be put on a boat with Joey Casada for a week and just hang out.
Let's dive into this show now. So let's talk about the actual show. I know we've been talking forever already. But the actual show, so we dive in. Obviously, it kicks into Detroit a little bit. They're already coming down. What's your first impression? I know everyone's mad because we missed the beginning, but right off the bat, to me, audio quality is superb. So clean, crisp. The mix is fantastic. And definitely something I didn't expect. Paul, off the bat, to me, sounded incredible. Really good.
And that's one thing, and you know me, there's not a bigger Paul Stanley fan on the planet, and been fortunate enough to strike up a friendship with him. And there's nobody more self-conscious about his singing. And we all know the trials and tribulations of Paul. But the one thing that my partner in crime, Rich Ward, said about Paul for years is he needs a rest. If he could just have a rest. And lo and behold, 10 months at home, Rich was right, because he fucking came out and he sang all the way to the end pretty fucking strong. And that's simple. What Smokey Robinson told me. There's no magic elixir. There's no vitamins or sucking on lemons. It's sleep and rest.
Right.
And that's what Paul's got. And it sounds even like another thing I really enjoyed that he did too, not to jump ahead, is he used his Soul Station voice at times where it applied, like I was made for loving you. I can't get enough. Yeah. He's never sang it like that before, but he sounded like he was singing the Soul Station stuff. So, dude, he was in fighting shape for sure.
Yeah, see, I looked at things a little bit different because I thought that it at the beginning, like the first half of the show, I was messaging people going, Paul sounds really good. Yeah. He obviously I felt like as it started to go, he pushed it a little bit. He was pushing it. Now, but I will tell you, I wasn't 100% I was so grateful to be watching this and to be seeing my favorite band. I mean, let's think about, it's been how many years now? 47 years. Yeah. And we still have this band.
Yeah. Right. And dude, I'll say another thing too, not to cut you off, but they are tight as fuck. And absolutely. Every time I see him, I don't know what he did in the 80s or 90s where I never noticed, because I'm a bass player by trade. Gene Simmons is the best fucking bass player of all time. I mean, he is so fucking great. And his voice has never changed. Like, that guy is the unsung hero of Kiss. And I know he goes, I don't care. I said, dude, you're so underrated. I don't care. Bullshit. He is underrated.
100%. Bullshit.
Just watch him play. He's just noodling on this all great shit. It's like, fuck.
Not only bass playing wise, of course, he's super underrated. His tone is one of the most underrated things ever. When I heard that tone up close, I never realized, still to this day, never heard a bass sound like Gene's bass ever live. And if you, it's hard to tell inside of a Kiss song, but if you ever hear him sound checking or just noodling by himself, he's got a tone unlike anyone else's tone. So I couldn't agree more. He is the unsung hero. He always sounds incredible playing wise, vocally. He's stronger than ever. Some of the songs he was doing, War Machine, God of Thunder, all of that stuff sounded so strong. His yelling, even like the high screams in Deuce, all of that stuff, he's so good still.
I was just digging it because when we did the Kiss Cruise the first time, that was when they were doing a live in its entirety. So I went to both performances and I sat, there's a box in the, I'm not sure if you went, Joe, it's called the Starlight Theater, and there's kind of a balcony.
Right.
And I sat right at the front of the balcony, and I was right on Gene's side. And I just watched like the bling, bling, like everything is just so good. And then to be able to watch him on this, I even tweeted about it. I said, this show is insane, highly recommended. Paul sounds great, and Gene Simmons is the best bass player of all time. And that comes from a Cliff Burton, Steve Harris disciple.
And let me tell you, too, it's not just his tone and stuff. So everyone always says, you know, how do you get that John Bonham drum sound, right? And how do you get that Alex Van Halen snare drum sound? There's no such thing. It's how those guys hit the drums.
Of course.
Right.
And it's the same thing with Gene. When we were on tour with them, Chris, David sound checked with Kiss a lot because Gene was always running late and stuff. So when Dave would sound check with Kiss, he would play like Dave, and it would sound, the bass would sound completely different. And then when Gene would get up and he would attack the strings the way he would attack them, it would sound like Gene. So that whole myth of, oh my God, if I can only get Eddie Van Halen's tone or Gene Simmons' tone or John Bonham's tone is garbage. It's the way people attack their instruments.
And musicians know that.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
You're a guitar player and you pick up. I remember Scotty and got to play Malcolm Young's guitar once on stage. And he's like, I said, how did it sound? Because I sounded like shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. But like, it wasn't my rig. It was Malcolm's rig, and nothing happened. You get Malcolm on there, and it's fucking punchy and it's killer. So,
right. One of the things about Gene, though, like you said, I'm a musician myself. He understands his craft. He understands the bass guitar. If you go, especially, let's go back to Alive and watch him play the bass. He's not up in the pocket, just sit on the root kind of bass player. No. He's all over the place, and that's what makes him wonderful.
Well, I'll tell you right now why that is, and it's easy. He's a disciple of Paul McCartney, and he's a disciple of Carol Kay from the Wrecking Crew, which that's getting deep in the woods of like the greatest Motown backup band of all time. If you listen to either, it's like I'm a Beatles fanatic. Like he is the second coming of Paul in a heavier rock version. You know, Paul can do everything, but he is Paul McCartney. Never mind evil incarnate. He's Paul McCartney incarnate with a big dose of Carol Kay. And if you guys are listening at home and not familiar with her, there's a great video of Gene meeting one of his heroes, Carol Kay, and she's a girl, and he's trying to play like Sugar Pie, Honey Bun, and she shows him how to play it.
Teaching him, yeah.
And then he plays it, and she goes, "That's terrible. That's terrible."
I remember, yeah.
And he starts laughing. Like, "Jeez, Carol." But that's his background. He's very much Soul Station crossed with Beatles with a little bit of a Geezer Butler in there. And just to be able to see him kind of in his natural element, he was tremendous. And not to stall the conversation, Tommy Thayer, I've long said it, you know, dude, that guy is the real unsung hero of Kiss. No one gives him any due at all because he's the spaceman. But dude, that motherfucker, Tears Are Falling solo, nailed it. Note for note.
Nailed it.
Dude, I have it written down in my notes.
Note for note.
Oh my! I was looking for it because I've heard him play it not so great before. He not only nailed it, the tone, everything he did. I'm glad we're getting the good stuff out of the way first because I do have some bad stuff to talk about. So Gene and Tommy to me, are the absolute highlights of Kiss. Gene, always strong, vocally, bass playing, we talked about. Tommy, too. All the haters out there, the Ace Frehley freaks and the blue Kool-Aid drinkers, whatever. Tommy is spot on all the time. His tone, his playing, his attitude. Tommy, and, you know, an underlooked thing is Tommy looks great all the time, too. In makeup, out of makeup. Tommy looks like a rock star. He looks, he does. He fits the bill.
He's like a third line centerman for like the New York Rangers, like a Claude Lemieux, somebody would never be a first rounder, but when he's on your team, you win, and when he gets traded, you miss him.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that Tommy is that for sure, all across the board.
Even vocally too. Vocally, especially this show more than ever. I saw and heard Tommy's vocals cover more than I've ever heard before.
Well, they're smart. They're doing. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
I was coming down the stairs here during Tears Are Falling, and when I heard the solo start, I ran because I was like, I really want to hear how if he nails this solo. And sure enough, he did. And I mean, let's be fair. Tommy's the right guy to be in this band because he plays all eras. Yeah. He is equipped to play all eras. You could put Bruce Kulick in his spot, but Bruce in the makeup to me doesn't work. Tommy in the makeup works.
He, like you said, the only people that hate on Tommy Thayer is because he's not Ace Frehley. And I'll say one more thing, and then we can move on. I saw Kiss in Moline in 2014 or 15. I took my son, who was I think 12 years old at the time. With his friend who was a big Kiss fan too. And they put us right at Paul's Love Gun stage. And those kids walked out of there going, the Spaceman's the best. The Spaceman is the best guitar player. He is their generation's Spaceman. Right. They don't know who Ace Frehley is, and they don't care. And nor should they. The Spaceman that was given to them that night is their guy. And I'll still say it to Ash sometime. Remember Kiss? Spaceman. He was fucking great. Do you know his name? Well, he's the Spaceman. That's his name. So that shows you right there. Just like Bruce Kulick was my favorite guitar player because that's when I got into Kiss. Spaceman is their favorite, not knowing that there was another Spaceman, nor should they care. So there you go.
I mean, I won't get into the whole makeup thing because I do think I couldn't agree more. This generation knows Tommy and they respect Tommy and they love Tommy. If he would have gotten his own makeup, I do believe he would have been just as well respected. Paul going on about Frog Boy and Goat Man and all that, whatever he tries to sell people. I don't agree with that stuff, because I do think other makeup could have worked. I understand why they did it and I get it. So I don't go crazy with it, but I do think that if Tommy had his own persona, he would be just as great as he is now. So I'm not bad mouthing him because he's in the Ace makeup. He's doing what every one of us would have done if he got the job. Of course, you're going to do that gig. You're Ace Frehley, you're the Spaceman, whatever. Tommy kills it every night. Now, let's get to the stuff that I don't like. Now,
can I just do one more thing before you get to stuff you don't like?
Yeah, me too. I got one more thing too. Go ahead.
The Tears Are Falling solo. I noticed something I never seen, which was Paul's rhythm playing, where he did a couple harmony notes. If you watch it back, where he goes, wow, wow, Paul does that. Wow, he's doing a harmony. Yeah, go back and watch it if you have that option. I was one more thing, Paul Stanley, possibly the most underrated rhythm guitar player of all time. His playing is fucking rock solid. But when I saw him if you go back and watch it, it was really interesting. There's some, as Keith Richards would say, some weaving like he does with Ronnie Wood. They weave things, and they did a little weaving there. And that comes directly from the Stones and from the Who as well. So that's my point on Paul.
Hey, listen, you guys out there that are watching right now live, your comments have been great. I love. It's really funny because you mentioned hockey, and all of a sudden we started getting hockey comments.
Rangers, baby.
Somebody was like, Claude Lemieux's son plays for. I guess it says, what does it say? The Rangers now, or who does he play for? I don't want to say the wrong thing.
I don't know. His son is playing. I didn't see the comment. Nice.
Yeah. And look, everybody out there, thank you for commenting. It's going by really fast, so it's hard. Of course, there are actually people talking about can't wait for the Chris Jericho cruise, which will be awesome. And then so make sure if you guys get a chance. Is that sold out?
We sold it out twice because we sold it out first and then we had to put it back on sale again when we changed the date. and so we sold it out again. So
I'm coming.
Joey's
going to put me in a bag.
You're welcome, by the way.
It was funny because when we put Joey on the bill, we got a lot of refund requests. I said, too late.
Okay, so Joey.
Yes. So let's start on. So again, unsung heroes. I couldn't agree more. Gene and Tommy are killing it every night, and I've really never almost. You're idiots. I've never really had a bad thing to say about either one of them. I think they've never had a down period in the history of Kiss. I know people say 80s Gene, horseshit. Gene was still great in the 80s. The 80s Gene stuff was still great
live, yeah.
Even Tommy's stuff, all the way from when Tommy started, he got a lot of crap in the beginning, but he's been carrying that torch for such a long time. Now, Eric, let's start with Eric. Eric was I love Eric Singer during the Revenge era, even during the Paul Stanley solo tour era, which I saw live. What incredible. What a absolute monster drummer. And he still is a monster drummer. Don't get me wrong. But over the years, and I get it, I understand, he's simplified his playing and he's wanted to play more like the songs, what they call for. But there's a fine line between simplifying your playing and becoming robotic. And, I get the argument. There's probably a lot of arguments out there, especially from drummers. He's playing with a click track probably now because they're pumping in some backing vocals. Maybe they're not, whatever it is. Chances are and it's all on click. And I get it, but that's no excuse. I've played to a click track a gazillion times, performed live a gazillion times with the click track. It's harder and it's more difficult to play with passion and feel and I get it, but you can't phone it in all the time. And I really feel like there was a portion of this show in and out. He had some great moments, but in and out, I feel like Eric was phoning it in just feel wise and passion wise. Anyone think that?
I felt like he looked bored.
Yeah. And that's the worst word you could ever use for any performer. I think.
Let me be the devil's advocate here. And I'm not a drummer, and Joey, a rare compliment. You're a great drummer. You're a great live drummer. Horrible person. But, here's because I've been an Eric Singer fan pre-Kiss, even back. Here's an old school from Lita Ford, "Gotta Let Go" days.
Yeah, of course.
When I see Eric Singer, to me at this point, because he's so rock solid drummer for me, I look at him as basically the co-lead singer for every Paul Stanley song. And what I was going to say earlier is you can really, like you mentioned, Tommy. Once again, Tears Are Falling was one of the highlights for me, and it's also one that they haven't played a lot that I've seen. I know they've played it for a bit, but as far as I watched that fucking thing 15 times. I read you, and he's doubling him, throughout. So to me, you have great points because people said he did look bored, and I'll say another reason, a couple things, but to me, his singing in the band, and I noticed that on the End of the Road tour, really compliments Paul. And it's almost like he's doubling himself. If you go to the studio, for people that don't know, when you sing a song in the studio, you sing it once, then you sing it again exactly the same, and you double it, put them together, which makes it sound thicker and fatter. And that's what I noticed that Eric does for most of Paul's stuff. And tonight, Paul sounded great. But when Paul has more shaky nights, Eric's the guy who really kind of helps that. Another thing is this. I'm wondering how much he's been playing over the course of the lockdown. I think maybe he got a little tired. I think Gene got a little tired too. A 2-hour set, and they played 2 hours. You know what I mean? I don't know what their cardio routines are. It did look like Eric was a little bit bigger than before. Aren't we all? COVID 15.
Sure.
But I wonder if a lot of those guys' regimen of staying in shape is playing 5 days a week.
Sure.
Take that away for 9 months and stick you in your house. I mean, Joe, you're up in New York, New Jersey, wherever it is. It's like, fuck, you got nothing to do. So I think that there might have been a little bit of, like, as vibrant as Paul was for being off for 9 months, I think the brothers who got to be hitting and cardio the whole time, I think it might have affected him a little bit.
Yeah. One of the other things that I wanted to bring up that I was just on the unfortunately, okay, I'm going to go ahead and spill this. The Kiss cruise that that Fozzie did was one that I did not make. So I'm very unhappy about that. However, you know that Gene does not spit blood on the cruises. He doesn't. He doesn't breathe fire. He doesn't spit blood.
Why doesn't he do the blood? I didn't know that.
It's probably once again, it's probably too messy.
It probably is messy.
I know. Honestly, I know from running 2 cruises now. I'm sure the confetti is enough for like, okay, we get it. But I think maybe that could be it. I don't know. And obviously, the fire is for obvious reasons. It's a fucking cruise ship, so there's no
it's
fire
a big
allowed.
tinder. Yeah, it's a tinderbox.
Just so you know, on the next Jericho cruise, I'm 100% spitting blood now.
Okay.
Now that I know that it's going to be messy and it's going to possibly cost you some money, I'm spitting blood everywhere. Possibly just walking around.
I'll bite your nipple next time, and that could just shoot the blood out of that.
That is entirely another.
That's between us. That's between us.
So, but my thing is, do you think he should have just not done the shtick? If you're not going to get the blood at the end, why even do?
What did he do?
No, the solo.
He didn't do blood at the end. There was no blood.
I still think it was as evil as ever. Gene looked with the lighting. And he had even that lightning and stuff. I thought it was
how about
just
this
as
too?
cool as ever. I did.
He was like, I was thinking like in COVID, like in the AEW, we're not allowed to spit, nor should you anyways. But don't spit, don't fuck, the old school wrestling brother,
too, right?
He was a drooling motherfucker. I watched seeing it in 4K, he is like there's drool.
He spits. Oh yeah, he does it all the time.
It looked like he ate like the canned peaches where the syrup is just coming out. So maybe he thought, if I can't spit blood, I'm just gonna spit. That's it. But
I mean, I've seen him. Obviously we toured with them, so I saw him from the front row for 40 straight nights. He is disgusting. He really is. He has, and when his spit, you know how most spit is, watery, and or when you drink like very syrupy stuff, it becomes sticky and stuff.
That's what I said. That's like peaches.
Gene's spit is like syrup. It's like it just hangs down all the time. It's awful. Gene's roadie at the time when we toured with them his name was Spike, and poor Spike was telling us stories how Gene would get globs of phlegm in his mouth all throughout the show, and he would just launch them at poor Spike all show long. And sometimes they would hit Spike in the face, and sometimes Gene would miss. But Gene is just a drooling bastard all the time, I think.
There was another thing I noticed too. See if you guys know this. Did you notice? And I've never seen this before, even in the 70s. As the show went on, how Gene's paint was fading.
It was fading bad.
I was talking to the quarantine guys as we were watching it live together. It's like there must not be Stein's clown white in Dubai.
You know what? But I saw that too. I wonder if he was doing something different because, again, when I did the Kiss tribute thing, and I didn't know this at the time when I first started either. My first few shows, my makeup was disgusting, was running off. It was gross.
Me too.
What Kiss does, they powder their makeup. And when you put the powder on, what happens is it becomes solid. You could do this with your face and it won't smear. I wonder maybe Gene was in a rush. Maybe something happened that he didn't get right.
And I love this too. How nerdy Kiss fans are we? Like noticing, like, oh, Gene drools a lot and learns, but all the other cats, no pun intended, including Eric, their makeup was fine. It's just Gene's, like me and PJ were saying, like, it's not going to last to the end of the show. Like,
whoa. We don't mention PJ's name on this show.
PJ Farley, great guy.
No.
The band Quarantine. You might want to check us out, Joey.
They're dead to me.
Retainer, you're fine.
Speaking of which, where's the new Quarantine? What's happening?
Coming
soon. What do we got?
In the can. It's a surprise.
Give us a hint. Give us a little, a little teaser, something.
It's a Gene song. That's all I'll say.
Ooh, sweet.
I got my predictions. And
as such a Paul Stanley disciple, the fact that we have 3 tunes and 2 of them are Gene's, Paul's going to disown me. He's never going to talk to me anymore. He's already mad that we got a number 25 hit from No.
When you texted him that, what did he text you back?
A big barfing emoji.
Okay, so
moving along.
why Yeah, set list wise, we are all the same way. We felt like it was, basically the same thing. During the show, Sonny was messaging me, basically said it was like the last show they did, it was pretty much exactly the same thing. Now, did we look, Joe? Look, Joe.
That's the exact one.
Amazing.
Awesome. Now, my thing is like, just like you said, like when I was on, I guess it was Kiss Cruise 7 or 8, they did right at the end of the show, and there's video of me just losing my Kiss nerd mind, and my girlfriend's with me at Karen, who at the time, this was all brand new to her, so she's seeing me and videotaping me react to the fact that I'm getting to see live, and they played Is That You, which, by the way, is one of my favorite Kiss songs. So my thing is they did that on the cruise, and they say that, okay, you can play these songs on the cruise because the people here will know the songs, but nobody knows Say Yeah, man. You can just replace it with Is That You.
Hold on. Here's the thing. Let me take this, okay? I think that set is pretty much for what Paul's mindset is what songs do we take out to put in these more obscure songs. I think that set is pretty fucking great if you're going for a career spanning set. The only thing I would suggest is take out Beth or Shout It Out Loud, no offense, and put Crazy Nights back in, or Hide Your Heart, or God Willing, where is Unholy or Domino? I mean, Gene can sing those tunes, they would go over crazy. But my point is just take out one of the, like, Shout Out Loud could be a classic, great, but the Beth thing with the piano, unless it's Peter, fuck off. Put in Crazy Nights, like I said, put in one more non-makeup song. And I'll tell you this about Say Yeah. When that album came out, there was 2 or 3 songs I liked, but when Say Yeah came out, I'm like, this is it. This is the one. And if that song came out in 1978 or 1982 or 1987, that would be just as much of an accepted Kiss classic as all the rest. It's got everything. It's got a great chorus. It's got a great verse. The chord changes are awesome. The fucking solo is awesome. The breakdown is awesome, like something Bob Ezrin would do. That song, if you asked me what was the highlight of the Kiss in Dubai, I would say Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So, I'm not a big fan of Say Yeah, but I totally love that they do it because, like you said, do some new stuff. Do some stuff.
Their whole career, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Listen, I don't mind the set list. I'm one of the. I know there's a lot of people going crazy over the set list. I don't mind the set list. What I do mind is, I mind that Kiss tries to sell you on. We can only do the hits. That's horseshit because, War Machine, all these songs, they're not hits.
100,000 Years.
100,000. You can interchange all of that stuff with Crazy Nights, with Unholy, with Domino, stuff like that. So I don't mind the set list at all. I think that the spanning of their career is actually covered pretty well.
I agree, but I'll tell you this, because Crazy Nights and Unholy, well, they were hits. Hide Your Heart.
They were hits, right? Forever. Where's Forever?
Listen, we know the reason why they don't play Forever, which is fine. But they've done Hide Your Heart in earlier shows, and they were doing Crazy Nights for a good 3-4 month span until they took it out and replaced it with Do You Love Me, which is fine. But there's a whole era of Kiss that sold gold records that people like me grew up on that, and I love all of Kiss, but fuck, when they play Heaven's on Fire, Tears Are Falling, Lick It Up, Lick It Up, by the way, is another huge highlight for me. It's kind of a boring song when you hear it on the radio or you hear it on the album.
You like the middle?
I love it. That has become a live cornerstone for me for the longest time with the Who and I Love You. But also, too, what Kiss has done with Say Yeah is they did Iron Maiden, Fear the Dark. Fear the Dark was not a hit, very obscure song, but they played it live every tour, and suddenly it becomes a highlight of the set. And to me, Say Yeah is that. I know a lot of people bitch about it, but I would much rather hear that because they got 2 albums in the last decade, and they play one song from it. Yeah. Come on, guys. Any rock and roll band would agree with that. I mean, come on. We can't just live in the fucking 70s. We've been doing this for 45 years.
Right.
I agree. I think keep Say Yeah, absolutely. But I do think, And for me, the highlight of the set was Tears Are Falling. I thought it was killer.
I agree.
It sounded better than
great.
It sounded so good. And when they started it, I went, "Oh no," because I thought there's no way they're going to be able to do this. No. And but it's funny. Paul's funny to me, and the other gripe I had about the show, Paul sounded great, but Paul has to also start to learn even songs that sing when he sings high. When you tune them down, they sound good. Tears Are Falling sounded good. The stuff he was doing, like you said before, and I Was Made for Loving You sounded so cool. But then when he starts to do the crazy screams in the breakdown of 100,000 Years, and even the stuff he did in Strutter, when he's singing, at towards the choruses of Strutter, when he starts to sound like an old grandma. He goes, he starts to do that stuff, and that's the stuff where he should start realizing it's not the song, it's some of the stuff that I do in between the songs, the improvisation stuff that he does with his screams in the 80s that he shouldn't try anymore. Usually when he faults, it's that stuff. It's not the actual songs. You
know what he needs to do? And Joe, I hate keep cutting you out here, but I think we're on a roll.
But see, here's the thing. You're here because I'm really interested in hearing what a touring musician thinks about what we saw.
Here's what I think, and not just a touring musician, but a fan of Kiss for 35 years, and more importantly, a disciple of Paul Stanley. Here's what he needs to do, because he hit some fucking great screams, and he hit some that were not as great.
Yeah.
He needs to do what, and you'll appreciate this, Joey, because you're a big fan as well, what Michael Sweet does and what Bruce Dickinson does. Michael knows there's 2 or 3 money shot notes that I have to hit. Mike Reno from Loverboy does it too. Turn Me Loose, I got to hit that note. Mike, I got to hit the note at the end of To Hell with the Devil. Bruce Dickinson, I got to hit the fucking note at the beginning of Number of the Beast. And they find a space where it's the same note every time, but it fits. Like Bruce doesn't go, ah! He just goes, ah! Like whatever he does. Sorry, as I blew your fucking equalizer there. He hits one note and and it's there. That's what Paul has to do. Okay, listen, here's our set. What notes can I just sit out on? Michael does it all the time. And what notes do I have to hit? Like Love Gun. There's a great note at the very end of Love Gun. He hit it on Animalized Tour, and he hit it tonight, right after the solo, the very last chorus. Pick your spots. Take the 2 or 3 money shots you got to hit, and then fuck, it's cool. Just lay back, man. You don't have to yodel at the beginning of Heaven's on Fire anymore.
Exactly.
That's not necessary. It's not necessary. We know.
It just started, and I was like, "This is great." And then he goes, "Whoa!"
Exactly. That's I said when they kicked into that. I went, "Oh my, what a smart move! This is perfect." And then he went, "Ha ha ha!"
And you don't have to.
God, don't do it.
And what he has to understand too, and if he hears this, he'll probably fucking get mad at me. But I'm saying it from a fan standpoint, from a musician standpoint, from a professional standpoint. We understand, dude. This is not 1985 anymore. You don't have to do it. You are fucking kicking ass, singing 10 songs out of 18 in a 2-hour set, and it's pretty fucking rad. If you skip a couple high, hard parts, that's what Eric Singer's for, and more importantly, that's what Joey's for, and Jericho's for, and we will sing. I tried to get Paul to do Heaven's on Fire years ago. And he's like, it's too high. I said, down tune it. I don't want to down tune it. I said, fine. Just let us sing it.
Right.
Everyone knows this. I look at you and your blood boils hot. Like, I feel your temperature rise. This is great. You sound awesome. Want it all. Give it what you like, dude. So he just needs to get a little more of that happy medium. Maybe because he's almost at the end, he doesn't want to. But it's okay if you do. We understand. And it doesn't make you any less. You're already the greatest rock and roll singer of all time.
You look great. You look incredible. Yes, you're sick. My wife was watching it with me. She's like, this is the most genius thing I've ever seen. Look at them. They're 65 plus years old, almost 70 years old, some of them, right? Almost 70. And they look incredible. They put the makeup on. Paul is still fit as can be. And they look great. It's timeless what they're doing. But you don't have to do, like you said, even if you did the opposite way, if you tried to do Heaven's on Fire in 1975, guess what, Paul? You couldn't do it. because you weren't at that peak of your ability yet. Right. You were like this, right? So there's no reason to go crazy. Don't try to show off anymore. You're not that 80s Paul anymore. Do what you do best. Some of the stuff he was doing the other night in Dubai was so great. Some of the stuff, like I said earlier, Tears Are Falling and I Was Made for Loving You was so great. But it almost gets ruined when the crazy Kiss fans hear one of those crazy yodels, they go nuts and they go, "Oh my God, Paul's horrible." So just don't do it.
It takes one to spoil it, right?
It does. Yeah. It's like somebody every show should be standing there at the top of the steps as he's walking on and they just go, "Listen, remind you, you're Paul fucking Stanley." All you have to do is walk out there and be so cool. That's one of the things that, look, I'm the same way. I'm a Paul guy, man. Paul is cool, man. There is no other singer ever that will do what Paul Stanley, Stanley.
Watching him dance when he's on the Love Gun platform, it's like he doesn't care if anybody's watching or not watching. He's just fucking dancing. He's like doing all this shit. And there's a bunch of parts too, like Tears Are Falling. He's doing the windshield wiper.
Oh, the windshield wipers were killer. Yes.
He does the fucking eat it like a piece of cake. They missed the shot.
Yeah. The camera. I went crazy. They were on Gene when he did it. I was so mad.
He's just going to do it. And I think you're right, Joe. And I'll say this, knowing Paul for many years now. Are we best friends? No, but if I text him right now, will he text back? We talked about this show, but that's between us. But
here we go.
Honestly, dude, and you'll appreciate this.
I'm kidding.
He's very self-conscious about. I feel that he's a guy that will read something on social media and it really hurts him. He shouldn't bother. We loved you, Paul Stanley, and you fucking still deliver, just like Roger Daltrey. I saw The Who a couple years ago. Guess what? Was he fucking screaming, "Won't get fooled again" perfectly? No, but was he fucking Roger Daltrey? Was he Ozzy Osbourne? Was he Mick Jagger smart? Because it's a different thing. But
the problem with guys like Paul, I love Paul, my favorite frontman vocalist of all time. I can say 700,000 amazing compliments to Paul, and then say, "Oh, that one yodel in the breakdown of 100,000 Years was no good." And that's what he's going to hear to his heart. And I get it. He's uber critical of himself. I understand he's a performer and that's how he is. He's self-conscious. I get it. But if you're that self-conscious, then those couple tiny little things that people can still criticize you on, just get rid of them. It doesn't matter.
There's certain moves I used to do in wrestling when I was in my 20s that I can't do anymore. So instead of trying and fucking bailing, I just don't do them.
Yeah.
Guess who notices? Nobody. So, like I said, I still thought he did great, but I do see your point. And if he could adapt that Michael Sweet, Bruce Dickinson, pick your spots, hit the fucking note, and everyone goes, "Oh my God, this is amazing." That's all you need.
Okay. So there are some things here. First of all, thank you guys. You're participating awesomely. I'm reading all your comments. It's hard to keep up and try to.
You got a lot of people watching though, Joe. If you got that many comments, that's good.
Yes, absolutely. Totally appreciate it. Jerry Kern said a lot of what Paul does is like muscle memory.
Yeah.
He thinks it just happens. Like he doesn't, he's not really thinking about it. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And then somebody asked, first of all, one person said, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, that said Chris has been on all the way up until he said "Say Yeah" was a great song.
I don't care. I really don't care. I fucking love that song, and you can tell me I don't like it. Who is anybody to tell me what I like or don't like? Kiss is playing it, so I will listen to it and enjoy it. I'm the ultimate fan. I love when Iron Maiden plays Blaze Bayley songs. If you don't like it, fucking fast forward it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so here's the let's see. All right, so it says, let's hear about what you guys thought could have been better with the show. I don't know, Chris, do you have time or you have to go to dinner?
Yeah, I'm having fun. My daughter having a Mandalorian marathon. So
tell Jess I said hi.
I gotta make sure I don't ruin the end.
I've seen it.
So me,
Mandalorian appears, you guys are gonna lose it.
Oh my god! Hey, if you look over my shoulder right over here, you can see that for Christmas I got the vintage Star Wars arcade game.
Nice.
I was wondering what that was. That's awesome, man. Very cool.
My amazing girlfriend Karen got it for me from. I'm doing a commercial from One Up Arcade. So if they see this, they can also send me Pac-Man. I'm in Atlanta.
There you go.
Yeah. So I personally thought that the Gene could have done his solo, but it could have been more like a animalized kind of solo. He didn't have to fake the blood. He could have done something with Eric, and I thought that would have made us all go, "Whoa, that's awesome, man! That's something we don't see." Yeah, see, and that would have been fun to me. And then I also thought, I the rest of the show. I mean, I had to go back and watch it. Watching it live was one thing because you're really popping. You're excited. You're popping. You're not really catching everything. I went back and rewatched it, and it's way better than I thought originally. I thought Paul was funny when he said that he was. After Love Gun that he was going to swim back to the stage. That kind of cracked me up. I missed that.
That's what you can tell he's having fun, right? Yeah, you forgot. I missed that too. First time.
Yeah.
I mean, the production. I mean, we didn't even talk about the production. The production was absolutely insane.
Unbelievable.
Between the pyro and the clarity of the cameras and the angles and the colors of the lighting, everything was impeccable. I mean, when you want a Kiss show, when you want this over-the-top experience, those overhead shots from above and from behind, through the water and stuff, they were absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything like stuff like that.
Yeah, I filmed a couple clips just to show to different people. I actually sent a couple of them to Paul, and the two I sent to him that I just happened to catch was the breakdown, the breakdown and Lick It Up. The lasers on that, the blue lasers, when they show an overhead shot, where it's the most incredible thing I've ever seen at a rock and roll show. It was unbelievable. And then I also sent him a clip from War Machine at the end where there's this pyro shot with fucking everything. It looks like a nuclear war. I was thinking if I was living in Dubai and had no idea that Kiss was playing, I would have thought we're under attack. I'm not even kidding.
That's a good point.
How about the end of Rock and Roll Night where they just fireworks for like 10 minutes, and it's like wrap this up already, right?
I wonder if there was anyone
after the show. After the show, it just kept going and going.
You think anyone was at that hotel, and I'm sure they were, that had no idea Kiss was playing, blah blah blah. They were just at the Atlantis for
hey, Joey,
New Year's?
You know what hotel it was?
It's the only hotel that'll let us stay.
I knew you're all right. Okay. Very good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were just happen to show up there, like, oh, it's New Year's Eve, we always come to Dubai, like, whatever. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this so loud? What is this? But to go back to your root question, Joe, is there anything any better? Like, once again, the only thing to me is there's a couple songs and I get the overall career spanning, and that's why I like the fact they play Say Yeah, because if they didn't play anything from Monster or Sonic Boom, you're basically telling me those two albums were shit and we shouldn't even bother. And that's never what a rock band should do. You should always support that. Now, Kiss has such a huge catalog, but guess what? They played 22 fucking songs, man.
Yeah.
And they threw in Strutter. Now, whether
that was exciting.
Does anyone think so? I was contemplating this as they were doing it. So obviously it wasn't great. The whole, setup and waiting for Eric to take his boots off. And anyone who's, again, I was in a Kiss tribute band, so I'm a nerd, so I know all this stuff. When you come out to sing Beth, like I used to do, I would sing Beth in Eric's makeup, and then I would have to go back to play Eric Carr's makeup, right? I would go back to play the next song. I would have to take my boots off to put my sneakers or whatever I was using to play again. So it's not an easy transition. So I was feeling what they were going through at that point, but I have a feeling they had to throw Strutter in, not because Paul was excited. They had to get midnight right at Rock and Roll All Night, right? So that's what they did.
Here's the thing I love, and this is anybody saying that Kiss phones shit in or whatever. Listen, who's going to notice if Eric's not wearing platform shoes when he does Beth? Who, in Paul Stanley's words, who gives a shit?
Right.
But yet he does. To me, that's going the extra mile. If you're the Kiss drummer and you're going in front, you wear your fucking platforms. And Eric's like, killer. It's going to take me a second to take these off and put on my Neil Peart ballet shoes or whatever he plays in. You know what I mean? But I felt that moment because we do it constantly in wrestling and in Fozzy too. If there's a great crowd, let's do another song. What do we know? What do you guys know? The TNT, let's do it. We haven't rehearsed. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit? You think they're going to care? And I think that to me was like the one thing that I was complaining about was that the set was the same. So the fact that we got something extra, and I think it was legit, like you said, Joey, they needed to kill time for New Year's. Yeah, that there was a little bit of an awkward, like send the message. Because you can see like Paul's like Strutter, just fucking do it. Strutter.
I think even if you guys noticed, they didn't come out to Eric at the end of Beth either, like they've been doing the whole tour. And I think that all had to do with they were probably backstage scrambling. Hey, we're early. We got to hit Rock and Roll All Night at midnight, but we're 5 minutes early right now. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And while we were discussing that stuff, they missed the re-entrance to meet Eric a la Paul Lynde, Halloween special when they come out to the piano to meet Eric. And if you watch Eric on that part, and I watched this a couple of times, Eric is like, where are these guys? What are they doing? And he even talks to Gene like, where were you?
Right. But that is the cool thing whether if you're talking tracks or not, that's live rock and roll. We need another song. Listen, we've been playing together for 45 years. If we don't know, like even with Fozzy, we've been playing. If we don't know an extra song after 20 years, we should all just fuck off. Like wrestling in AEW a couple weeks ago, so you guys have an extra 3 minutes. Can you do this? It's like, dude, if we can't make up 3 minutes of shit after 30 years, then I should just go home and fucking cut my head off. So to me, that was something that was exciting because it wasn't like the nerd I was. I screenshotted the set list, whatever. But to me, the only thing that I would change once again is there's a couple songs in there like that, just like 100,000 Years. It's very obscure, let's say, unless you're a real Kiss fan, like with live. It's great. I love it. Do You Feel Right? Wow. It's so great. Shout Out Loud is getting a little bit cracked at the britches for me. And Beth is kind of cheesy too. Take one of those two out and put in Hide Your Heart, Crazy Nights, something like that. And I think that set list would be perfect. I thought the production was great. I thought the setup was great. The shots of the castle, which was the hotel. I honestly, and believe me, I was a doubter going in. All right, I'll watch it. And I was like, fuck. I remember texting with the guys. Like, I am so happy I'm watching. And to see when they did Parasite, I'm envisioning in my head, Paul and Gene have been on stage every time they've played Parasite since 1974, 5, whatever it is, 3. And it's like that to me, that's the time machine of music. Like I saw these fucking dudes and it was 1970, and it's like, I just love that. And to watch them envisioning 1973, I'm watching me envisioning 1985 or when I first got alive. So I really would love to be able to bury it more, but I really have nothing more to say other than get rid of Beth and put in Crazy Nights, and I'm a happy camper.
I think that I would love to. The only thing that really, as far as like visually, that bothered me, besides the screw up at the beginning, but like I said, you can't. None of this has to do anything with Kiss. They are on stage and people are. It bothered me. I got really upset that they missed the money shot when Gene's breathing the fire. They were really right on him, a little too close. And I was like, oh man, they really missed that opportunity. You're right about that.
Just jumping quickly, like, why wouldn't they know that? Like this fucking There's like, dude, if you're the director, you know what they do,
right?
Even if you notice some of the Tommy solos, they're showing Paul playing rhythm. They're showing backing stuff.
Nothing.
There was a couple little spots like that. And again, listen, we're talking about if it's 50 cameras, it's crazy. But whatever the camera setup was. It's live editing, so it's not an easy gig. But you would think that the production staff are Kiss people, that they know all that stuff.
I wasn't privy to any rehearsals. I know when to switch.
Right.
If I was there, okay, either like a piece of cake, he's going to suck his finger.
Tommy solo.
Right. Black Diamond solo is an epic Tommy. Boom. Like, come on, man.
That just tells you what nerds we are, too. We could actually edit the
that's what I was saying. I really wish I could have been in there to like direct that, just be like, okay, solo's coming, go to Tommy, or besides that, I mean,
Here's another, if you
great.
really want to be a stickler, okay, I would have liked to have had it's the Oath. Oh my God, they're playing the Oath. It's fucking room service. Yay. It would have been cool too. Like there was a thing that came out the day of that Ace Frehley said, I will not be there. Like we know at this point, like give it a rest already. It's like Eddie Trunk's still angry that Yannick Gers is an Iron Maiden. Like, dude, it's just it's done. Stop. It would have been cool if something like that happened, but in Kiss's world, why would they do that? Like, what do you like I said, like what would you do? Like let's talk about this for a second. I'm sure there's some people, if you look at your comments right now, would you have liked to seen Ace Frehley live in Dubai? Respond at the comments on Joe's right.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Is there gonna be two spacemen? Is there gonna be Spaceman and the fucking stuntman Spaceman from Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park? Like, what do you do?
I really do believe that that's the issue. I think
It is.
if the makeup wasn't the issue, Peter and Ace would be back periodically throughout this whole tour. I think, what do they do? Like you said, what's the solution?
I'll tell you what the solution is. Have Ace come out like you live, shades, suit, jacket,
no makeup, right?
I think it might be an Ace.
Maybe just boots. Maybe just boots.
Anything. I think. Like, listen, Kate, I'm the spaceman. You're the spaceman. Fucking, I'm a pepper. You're a pepper. We're all a pepper too. Who gives a shit? I think that's the issue, Joey. And I think that it's more, as ridiculous as this sounds in 2020. I shouldn't even say this because I could be wrong, but maybe it's more on Ace's side. Like, I'm the spaceman. I got to be the spaceman. Like, do you really care? Like, or do you have Bruce come out and play Tears Are Falling in street clothes? Like, does it really matter?
I do think that's the only solution. You could never have Kiss Meets the Phantom, two Ace men, two spacemen fighting it out, and they're doing the flips and stuff. Like, you can't, unless you're going to go all out and actually reenact it.
I would venture to say that Ace can't do those front flip back handsprings anymore.
When I was a kid, I didn't know there was the Black Ace Frehley stunt double. I said, well, this guy does the flips every 2 seconds in this movie. Obviously, Ace is really doing that. So,
of course,
I mean, come on.
Peter Chris is the voice for Scooby Doo because they sound the same.
Look, so far the comments. Oh my God, the last one is great, but there's been one absolutely. There's been a lot of no aces. There's been Ace can't keep up, and then there's this comment right here which says no Ace. They tried to kill him in the Bahamas. He definitely wouldn't survive in Dubai. Okay, but like,
hey Joe, right, you can put the quotes up on screen. You know that, right?
Son of a gun! I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've been doing streaming. If you post it, you can see. You can press display or something. It will come up right here. You can say, "Hey, Dave from Alaska has this question."
Joe, how do you do that? You know how to do that?
I'm on it. I'm sorry. I'm still new. I'm new.
You should have talked to Uncle CJ.
Without a doubt, the only way to do it is, like you said, have them without makeup. And the easiest way to transition that is not to just have Peter and Ace, because then maybe it's awkward. You throw Bruce in the mix, and I would, personally love to have Vinny too. I don't think it'll ever happen. But if you throw Bruce in there too, non-makeup, then it becomes an event. It becomes a little different rather than just having Ace and Peter without makeup.
I think that's going to be the end game. See, there you go. Look at this, Joe. Whoa. Look what you learned. Bob Jordan says not yet live in Ace. I was just going to say that, Bob. I think that's the time to do it. It was supposed to be, I think 2021 was the last show. It's probably 2022 now. It was at Yankee Stadium, whatever it was. That's when you bring back the family. And listen, what do you do with Vinny? Give him an invite. He shows up. He doesn't show up. Whatever. I think that Gene would allow it. I think that Paul would say no fucking way. But I think Bruce and Peter will be more than welcome, and they'll show up.
Again, it's not about that. If you want to do really something, throw Vinny a bone. Give him once. Put him on Lick It Up.
He won't
put him on War Machine. Give him the 10 grand that you wouldn't pay him, you cheap bastard, and put him on War Machine.
All right, here's another good thing. They bet that they're going to change the edits for the Blu-ray.
Oh, good point.
Probably.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Here's another thing, Joe, that I did not like about it, and it's Kiss, which is great. But I will tell you from, obviously Kiss is 1 million and Fozzie's 10. But when we did our live stream, our VIP was what people are looking for now, which is the personal experience. So we did live Zoom. If you buy the top of the line experience, which was not $1,000, that the end of the road one was. And what do you get for Dubai? $1,000. You get a T-shirt, you get a Solo cup, you get a Joey Casada book, you get Kiss fucking vitamins, like whatever the fuck they can do. A Kiss mic stand from Kiss. Nobody cares unless you're the aforementioned Mark Cicchini. What they should have done if they really wanted to do something is what me and Rich did. Which it's a live Q&A. Before the show, a couple hours before the show. And we had Zoom, you can have up to 100 people. We limited it to 20. So we had five slots of 20. And you got, 10, 15 minutes and ask questions. But people like that. Hey, Paul. Hey, Gene. Oh, my God. It's not hard to do. And that to me was like, are you really charging $1,000 for trinkets, man? Really? Yeah. In 2020? I'm curious as to how many of those they sold.
I mean, I hate to give. Go ahead. Oh, he did. Yeah.
All right. So here, I bought. Karen for Christmas got me the $250 package.
What did you get for that?
Okay, so it's guitar picks, drumsticks. I think a T-shirt, a mask. When you think about it, of course, I think a mask. You get to go along with my other 700 Kiss masks. I think you get a book, the DVD. You get to stream it. It doesn't come with Joey's book.
Oh, that's the $1,000 package. No, but you're so right. Listen, I obviously, I hate to compliment Jericho, but he's so right. Gene and Paul could have done, like you just said, a Q&A with 20, whatever. You could charge $1,000 for that. They're going to be those Kiss fanatics that want to be a part of a Q&A for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want to do, and do 5 sessions. Take out an hour, do 10 minutes each, and do a Q&A with 20 people. You get 100 people.
Pre-screened questions. There's nothing stupid. Like, dude, I would have bought that. Hey guys, like I would have done that. Like
I would have asked you to buy one for me. You know that.
I would have. It would have been your Christmas present and your New Year's and next year and your payoff for the cruise and your.
Well, no, but I give you presents all the time. Look at this beautiful shirt you're wearing. I get nothing.
Thank you. And that's my point too. Like we actually got the idea in Fozzy of doing our VIP has a mini concert during our sound check, which you have to do anyways. We play 5 songs. A couple of them that you're not going to hear later in the night. I got that idea directly from Kiss. I get most of my good ideas from Kiss because they used to do that with the acoustic set. And it was like the fucking best. There's like 20, 30 people, whatever it was, and now on the cruises, they don't even take pictures with everybody. They drop that.
They dropped it.
So, it's like that's fine. I get it. But if now it's not enough, especially from Kiss, because we know they always go the extra mile. So when Kiss fans sniff that they're not, they will rebel, in my opinion.
Well, let me ask you, why do you think for something like this, do you think it's just as simple as no one in management thought of it? Why do you think they wouldn't do something like that? Or even just in general, not even for the Dubai show to make extra money. You could do one a week, a Q&A and pocket $100,000.
I think it's what we talked about, an hour and 20 minutes ago. This show was put together as a profit from day one.
Yeah.
A prince, a sheik, a company, an organization paid. What do you want to do this show?
Agreed.
$30 million. Great. Thank you, Lisa Mikhalik. Fozzy VIP Zoom was great. We had a lot of fun. That's the reason why, though, Joey. I think why do we need to? We've already got it all sorted, right? So because I was like, listen, I think the $1,000. Okay. Let's listen. Jerry Kern's got a lot of airtime today. He's starting to get on my nerves.
So, all right. So this was weird, right? That was a very strange thing. Do you think that they should have pumped in crowd noise?
I think they did because the crowd reaction they were getting was not 50 people in balconies and 200 people in the back, right? And listen, Jerry, I'll tell you from experience, I know how weird it is to have no audience. We've talked about this. It's the fucking weirdest, especially for Paul, who I would equate to Chris Jericho, where it's like the last time I played in front of 50 people was like in 1991.
Right.
The last time Paul played in front of 400 people, other than like maybe somebody's foundation's forum or something or whatever, was probably 1972. you could see a couple times when they rely on the reactions of the crowd.
Of course.
You know, lick it up, bow.
Nothing.
Away,
right.
Bow. They're like, what are we supposed
Crickets.
to do now?
You know what I noticed more? I've never heard it before, and I'm assuming it had to do with either the mics on stage or the hot mics wherever they were, or just the non-crowd noise. I heard in between songs, or even after a little Paul rap, I would hear Gene in the background. Oh yeah. Right?
Yeah, okay.
You hear him in the background doing like some stuff, right?
That happened a few times, and Paul would go, "Here's one you can sing," and you'd hear G go, "Yeah." I've never heard that before.
I got another part of the show I did not like. I am a huge disciple of Paul Stanley's stage raps. Joey knows this. We just used to, you know what hotel we're staying at? The only hotel that'll let us stay. Take him home and mother him. I saw a nurse with the biggest tits I've ever seen. I saw you in the lobby getting ice. I've heard them all. The awkward one he did about vaccinations and the vaccination don't work if you don't get one. So go stand in line. In the meantime, be ready for Dr. Love. It's like,
yes,
we've come a long way
so
from 1988 Paul Stanley to the the pandemic Paul that we have now.
I literally said that's like one of those old Johnny Carson jokes. He goes, "Wow, that took a long way to get to that punchline."
It did. It was around the corner, down the street. He stopped at a red light, made another left. And then when he did it, you could see when he got to Dr. Love, there was relief on his face that he finally got there.
I didn't know where he was going.
I didn't know where I was going. It's like,
anyone notice? I thought I saw a little bit. I don't know if Paul's hips are bothering him, his knees are bothering him. I'm sure maybe a little bit of both. I saw a little bit of maybe him not moving as well as he once was, even on the beginning of this tour. And I even saw a clip of some TMZ guy posted Paul arriving at LAX after the fact and him walking through LAX. It looks like he's on a little bit of a limp right now. I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, I mean, first of all, he's almost 70, which God bless him. But also, too, I'll tell you this right now, man, and you haven't experienced this yet, Joey, but when you play in front of nobody, when you're used to playing in front of people, that takes, like I said, dude, I wrestled for 6 months in front of nobody. Do you know how hard it is to take all these fucking bumps and do all these high spots and all this shit where you're like, I remember I worked with Orange Cassidy during the summer and like, he goes, did I move too fast? I'm like, I said, I don't know. Like my barometer
No
is
reaction, right?
Okay. Like he's like, what fuck, I don't know, dude. Like we're like sitting. It's like you're waiting for the time to expire, but you don't have a clock. Like, so I think the extra adrenaline that Paul, and I think Gene too. You can see Gene at times kind of like, I'm not saying he looked blown up as we say in wrestling, but there wasn't that swagger because there's no chick in the front row for you to look at. And they tried a couple times to look at somebody. I'm sure they
they were pointing a bit too.
And kisses, I learned that you point. You know why you point? Because there's 50 people in this radius that thinks you're pointing at them. Point.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm used to playing in front of nobody, so I've never had that issue to kind of adjust. You know, I play with PJ Farley. You know that, so. You know, we don't play in front of people, so it's something that I never had to adjust to. So I'm on the opposite spectrum.
What about when you're in the Tonys at the Tonys?
Was he wearing a wristwatch?
He pretended to look at her. There was no wristwatch.
Oh, I was gonna say, how did I miss that?
By the way, Facebook user, give us your name.
Oh well, Facebook. Facebook blocks the names from coming through here.
Only YouTube names come up, I think, right? Oh, I don't know how we didn't talk about this yet. Jesus Christ. Can we please talk about, and maybe I didn't notice it the whole tour. What the fuck was Eric Singer wearing? I know he had the vest on at first. And then all of a sudden he had this t-shirt. He had this t-shirt on with like crimped sleeves. What the hell was he wearing?
Show with the cats that are on the drum riser.
No, the cat stuff was cool, but it would look like a regular t-shirt. What the hell was happening?
COVID-15, maybe.
But if that's the case, I get it. But costume department has to adjust to that. He wore the vest in the beginning. He could have kept the vest on, right?
He's been wearing t-shirts and stuff lately. I've
really?
noticed. I think so, yeah. If you go back during the tour, like his costume, I think he's went, you know what? I'm sick of all this other shit. I just want to be comfortable when I play. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, but listen, I get it. If it's a regular show, this is a live stream. This is going to be a Blu-ray. This is going to be it's cemented in history. He reminded me of Dom DeLuise at the end of Cannonball Run when when he comes out as Captain Chaos. It's like, what are you doing?
Especially when it's a DVD, it's a live stream, then it's an MTV concert, and it's going out on the radio.
On the radio. You gotta go all. Even again, I know people get blown up, like you said, in wrestling terms, and you get tired. I've played a million shows where I was exhausted and miserable, and my face felt like it was going to explode. But especially if you're being filmed, you gotta give it. You gotta try to give everything you can and look your best. You can't wear a T-shirt on the live TV concert on MTV. Come on, it's ridiculous.
Joe, let's start wrapping it up, man. There's a couple more things I want to cover.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm with you. I did, of course, want to talk about one thing that made me cringe, and that was the Guinness Book of World Records thing. That was very important. It was Kiss was going for a record. We'll let you know in 6 months.
Right.
Kiss was going for another record. Who gives a damn how high? I'm going to go out. Let me tell you, I'm going to go out into my front yard, and I'm going to get some oil, and I'm going to make it really hot. And then when it catches on fire, I'm going to turn my guitar on. I'm going to fucking rock in my driveway, and I'm going to throw a glass of water into it. And I'm going to break that record. I guarantee I'm going to get a 40-foot flame in my front yard.
I kind of like the idea of doing that on stage. But then when they were about to announce each record and they said, we'll let you know later tonight. That's when the luster kind of got taken away. I always like that extra stuff that Kiss does. I've seen the same songs a million times. I like the cool extra stuff. That's why I said I like the documentary. So when they started doing that, I actually thought it was cool. But then when they couldn't announce any of the Guinness records, I was a little upset about it.
Well, first of all, Kiss is very smart. I mean, perception is reality. So the fact that they had the Guinness Book of World Records guy on there, because they did announce it was the highest flame, 35 meters.
Wow.
Which, by the way, is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like leave it to Kiss to that's ridiculous. So I love the little subtlety. It's like, okay, well, we will announce the highest flame and we'll announce the most flame projections. And now the final one will be, there might be maybe a moment where you might possibly be the highest rated possible rock show of all time. And we'll get back to you. I loved it. I loved it.
Eric was kind of goofing with Gene the whole time too. I kind of like that goofy stuff.
You see?
Yeah.
Gene puts his pick on the Guinness Book of Records guy's head.
Oh, and Paul reached over and took it off.
I don't go for that shit.
It was awesome. Okay, so before we go, I know, did you have anything to add there, Chris, before we go?
I just want to quickly go through the highlights of the show for me, because once again, watch this at first, like, oh, same old shit, whatever. Heaven's on Fire was great. Tears Are Falling was top of the top. Say Yeah, like I told you earlier. Lick It Up, amazing. 100,000 Years, amazing. Parasite, amazing. Black Diamond, always cool. And Love Gun was great. So when I watched this thing overall, I was like, this fucking band kicks ass. Because like you said, we see the set, we see them playing it and how much fun they had and how good they were. So great all across the board. Those ones to me, those stood out. 100,000 Years, why are they playing that? But it's a little known fact for me that's my favorite song off Alive. I don't know why I love it, the chord progression. And I was just like, this band, like, I'm going to really be sad when Kiss is done, because this is 47 years, like you said, Joe. They're fucking great, man. And we can pick at it, and it's fun to pick at it. But overall, like, there's not a band in the world that does what they do. It's just like there's not a band in the world like AC/DC that does what they do. And the sad thing to me, as we know, guys in our 40s and 50s, we're getting to the end of Iron Maiden, AC/DC, Kiss. I mean, Metallica's a little younger, and U2's a little younger, and those bands. But, dude, like, fuck, these guys are too good to stop. Yeah. Like, please don't ever stop. But they have to. So I'm really glad I got to spend, another night with probably my favorite band, still locked in, sounding great, looking great, and putting on the best fucking show that anybody could ever see. And they've been doing it for when the bar gets raised, Kiss raised. Hey, Kanye West, you did a kill. Watch this. Go fuck your ass. Look at us. We're Kiss. See you later, buddy.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. Joey?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, listen, I bitch and complain about a lot of things with Eric and Paul, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, we have Kiss still in 2021 now. It's insane to think that my favorite band from when I was 5 years old is still playing. It's insane to even imagine that. You would never have thought that, especially like during the convention days in the early 90s and stuff like that. How would you ever think over 20 years later, 25 years later, Kiss is still going? When that reunion tour started, you're talking 25 years ago. That's insane to think about. So as much as I bitch and I complain, of course, I want Kiss Animalize Uncensored. I want that stuff. I want Kiss Sydney 1980. That's my Kiss. I love it more than anything in the world. But to have what we have, we should all be thankful for.
No, go ahead.
Before you say something, my point is, Joey, is I agree with you on those gigs. But to me, Kiss in Dubai 2020 is up there with the best Kiss gigs I've ever seen. And I did not expect that. It fucking blindsided me to where, dude, like I watched it again today and tomorrow's the last day. I'll probably watch it again. And then when it's done, how do I get it back? It like you said, dude, that to me, out of nowhere was a classic Kiss gig at this point in time. Paul's almost 70, Gene's 72. Here's a reality check. Eric is 62 and Tommy's 60. Tommy Thayer's 60 years old. What? Crazy. Hold on to 18. You're fucking 60. Right, so I'm really happy that I saw it because it is to me one of the top of the 45 years that they've been playing. Joe?
I've mentioned this to a lot of people before, and I have three things in my life that aren't work, business, and family, and taking care of my son and my house and everything else. And I've been lucky enough to have those three things in my life since I was 7, and that's Kiss, professional wrestling, and Star Wars. I mean, look at my room here I'm surrounded by all of that stuff. I mean, I go back to laying on my couch and watching. I'm from Miami, so I was watching Florida Championship Wrestling, Barry Windham, and then I was out front with my lightsabers from 1977, and then running through the house with Kiss Fever magazine to run to my mother, God rest her soul, to open up the magazine and go, oh my God, there's a picture of Gene Simmons in this magazine, 1979, no makeup. And she was like, get out. And I still have this in my life now. I'm so fortunate that anybody that meets me, they understand just from hearing the passion when I talk about any of it. Yeah. And that's the coolest thing about being a Kiss fan is that I don't know Chris Jericho, and I barely knew Joey, when we met in New York City, and we could sit here and talk like we've known each other our whole lives. And that is the greatest thing.
You make friends because of Kiss. You really do this day. Like I was laughing earlier about, Sonny Poon. I've never met the guy. I can't wait to, because like, it's Tom and Zeus from Shout Out Loud. It's Chris and Andy and Nick from Pot of Thunder. It's like fucking Tommy and Mark Cicchini from Three Sides. You become friends because of Kiss. And I'll say this too as we wind down. Nikki Sixx, kind of like we said, Pat, like fuck Nikki, like shut your fucking mouth. The fact Kiss did that show and gave us another classic gig in a year when we lost, and we didn't just lose a guy. We lost Van Halen and we lost Rush. And those two bands for me are just as important in a certain way as Kiss and AC/DC are. And we lost two of those in 2020. So the fact at the end of it, and all the pandemic Paul and all the others, like, dude, Kiss is alive. And they fucking played one of my favorite gigs I've seen. I've seen them all. Like anything that's on DVD, Joey's seen them. You've seen them. I've scoured the fucking internet and then went to this great place in Japan that used to sell bootlegs called Airs. I have them all. You have them all. And the one that we saw last night was like, it's one of my favorites, and we still have Kiss. So thank you Kiss for doing that. And anybody's going to give you shit about, I'll fucking back you up all the way, because it sure made my year end off on a pretty damn positive and fun way.
I agree 100%. You guys, now don't forget that look, I got to do my commercial. Don't forget, every Wednesday night you can check out Chris on AEW. I watch religiously because I love professional wrestling. And Joey's book, don't forget that you can get that. and listen, there's so much happening. Talk is Jericho. You've got that going on. I might sound like a commercial.
Hold on. If you guys enjoyed this show, Joey and I did a great one months ago that we just put out a few weeks ago of Kiss Animalized Live watch along, which was the other favorite gig that we both enjoy. And man, we had a blast watching along with all the ridiculousness of that show. And that's the one where when I told Paul that we did, I was like, yeah, your stage raps are pretty nuts. He sent me another emoji of like that you can make an emoji of yourself. He's apparently has a Panama hat in his emoji, and he goes, "What a dope."
Yeah, I can't imagine the new Paul Stanley looks back at those raps and loves them.
Yeah.
Illegitimate baby humor. Oh, how heavy metal is that?
Hey, you guys out there, thank you very much for listening. Happy New Year to you, Chris and Joey. I really appreciate you being here. Don't forget, tomorrow at 5:00, we're going to be back here live with the fucker Sonny Pooney and Jody Havana. We'll be here. And we'll get their point of view on the show. And you know what I'm going to say? We love podcasts, and we love Kiss podcasts, most of them anyway. And you're going to hear the commercials for you're not going to hear any commercials. We're out of here. 3, 2.
Here's what I think of Sonny Pooney.
Perfect.
All right. That's the perfect way to end it. 3, 2, 1. Peace. Thank you guys for writing. We appreciate it.